All right, we live. So I'm letting a few people get on. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Antoine Campbell, the REI Giver. I got a very special guest with me today, all the way from Parkland, Florida, right outside of Palm Beach, where my family lives. Mark Evans, DM. Mark is an entrepreneur. He runs multiple eight-figure businesses. He's a coach, and he's a giver himself, and that's why I got the idea to start giving from. So, Mark, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody and let everybody know who you are.
Definitely, Antoine. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. Guys, my name is Mark Evans, DM, dream maker if you're my mother or my family, deal maker if I'm doing deals. That's what it's about. I grew up in small town, Ohio, hour east of Columbus, Ohio, small town, 650 people, amazing family, mom, dad, 2 sisters, 5 nieces. Now I'm married with a beautiful wife, Dina, 2 kids. Drea is 1. Actually, she's at the ER last night for 4 hours with her. She sliced her leg up a little bit, but she's all right. And then
I
Mark,
that on Instagram.
Yeah, man, she got whacked. She got sliced up pretty good. So, hey, listen, get on line over here, man. I cut you. You know how it is. It's my old school real estate days, you know. But no, man, listen, I've been doing real estate since June 21st, 1996, almost 24 years now. Probably been doing it longer than a lot of people watching this, maybe alive, because there's a lot of young hustlers out there, which is awesome. And now I'm involved in over 16 companies. We just closed on another one yesterday. Today it's actually already starting to crank, which is so amazing to see. It's pretty cool. We'll talk about that if you want. But, yeah, man, there's a lot of cool things, man. It's not always easy. It's not always pretty. And I love it, though, man. Antoine, I mean, shit, you're sitting in your truck. You're doing your thing. I'm sitting out in my garage doing my thing. And building the dream, not just building the dream, but also thinking bigger. And that's what I talk about in Magician versus Mule. When you're the mule, it's hard to think bigger because sometimes you're like, dude, I just hope I make it through the day. And then the magician's more like, oh, my gosh, I see so much more possibilities, opportunities, different revenue streams. It's endless. It really is, man. But it hasn't always been unicorns and rainbows, though, man. I almost went bankrupt twice back in the day in the beginning. Lost a car to repo a long time ago. That was like late 90s, early 2000-ish. I forget those times, man. It's those are the old school days, you know, but it's what made me, man. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Awesome. So I got a few questions I want to ask you, like while I got you on here. Like, how in the hell did you end up from small town Ohio to Palm Beach? Like, Palm Beach is a place, man, it can make or break you. Let's talk about that. How in the world did you have the ambition to leave small town Ohio all the way down to Palm Beach, Florida?
Yeah, you know, I never. I was a workhorse, man. I was the best mule under the sun. I loved working hard. My dad and mom work hard. They showed me the path to that, and that's just what we do in small town Ohio. And you're either going to be doing construction, mill work, or a farmer. So back in, I just did construction, real estate. I mean, that's kind of how I got into real estate. Barely graduated high school, never went to college. And in October 2005, my grandmother died. And, she died. She went to a doctor. Boom, 2 weeks max to live, and she had stage 4 cancer unexpectedly. And so that like shifted my mind. I was a mule, and I'm like, I have money in the bank. I'm working hard. I have a team. But I was a micromanaging maniac, psycho, work 18 hours a day. If you're not working 18 hours a day, you're lazy kind of thing. Works all relative, by the way. And my girlfriend, Dina, she's like, hey, let's take a trip for a minute, get away. And then I went to South Beach, Florida. Actually, I went to South Beach, Florida for a month, which turned into a 2.5-year trip around the world. And then my wife and I, now she's my wife, Dina, we actually traveled the world throughout all of our times. A little over 7 years combined, man.
Wow, that's amazing. And while you was traveling the world, did you like close your business up, or was business still continuing to thrive, or how did that look like?
Yeah, man, 2005, December 31st, 05, that's when I landed in South Beach, Florida. These are flip phone days, fax machine days, and plug a phone in the wall. Cordless phone. They're not called cell phones back then. And, I remember, man, I had to shift because what I wanted to be there, but I wanted to also do business because I love business, man. I love real estate. I love business, period. But, real estate was the gig. That's all I did back then. So I had an office. I had a team. And, half the people left within the first 6 months. I closed the office up in June of that year of 06. Everyone went virtual. I was doing virtual before it was even a thing. It wasn't called virtual back then. It's like you get to work from home. So that's about it was work from home kind of thing. But yeah, man, and then then it just started evolving and just started developing and creating constraints. I wrote about this in my last book, 10-Minute Business Owner, the power of constraint. Because when you're traveling, like let's say if I'm in India, I might have 30 minutes a day to work. We got 25 sites to go see. We're going here, we're going there, time change. So I actually had to learn how to block time and get work done, not talk about it, get it, actually do it.
Right, that's crazy. So I see you talk about, relationships and networking and really building a circle and empowering your circle. Like, what is the definition of relationship capital to you? I hear you talk about that a lot, and I just want you to really explain how relationship capital can benefit you in these hard, trying times throughout the COVID-19 as well.
Yeah, man. Well, number one, we're doing it right now. It's happening right before their eyes. You pinged me up on social. I said yes. You said, okay, what's the date? We set the date up. Now we're here.
Right.
My goal is that we're here 25 years from now talking about this moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think I don't have a motive. My motive is to serve. That's my motive. And I know that's your motive too. So I think that's how it all starts, first and foremost. I'm very, if anything, I'm lopsided. I go into the relationship trying to figure out how to serve, not take. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a business guy and I'm a capitalist. I want to make money. But I do know sometimes I'm moving so fast, I'm not even thinking about the money. I'm thinking about the relationship, how to grow it, how to help you. I might not even need anything from you, and vice versa. We're just talking and connecting, not knowing where it's going to go. But here's what I do know about because not all relationships are created equal, right? Like if someone's out boozing every night, drugging every night, or whatever, and you're rolling with them, I'm not trying to build relationship capital with that. I'm actually trying to separate from that. But with someone like you and I, we're going places. We don't know where we're going yet, but we know we're going forward and we're moving up. So, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now, you might hit me up and say, hey, man, I have a $30 million deal. I need $15 million tomorrow to close it. I might have the capacity or know people have the capacity. We do it. We both make a lot of money. And then that's how it works. I've done so many groups like that, man. Mastermind groups are where relationship capital, because everyone's investing in themselves. You got to go to the rooms or the environments where it's conducive for opportunity in the future. You know what I mean? I'm not kicking it over at the park, talking with a bunch of guys, hanging, doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. I'm hanging out in the mastermind rooms, connecting on podcast shows and all that with guys like you or gals and connecting, man, just really forging relationships.
So let's get into some of your businesses. Like, you're a very business savvy guy. I sat back and watched you for 2 years before I approached you. Like, hey man, this guy right here, he's the real deal. He knows a lot of people in this business can fake it to make it, but he's legitimate. He's very transparent. What are some things that you look for in building a business?
I'm looking, in building a business or buying. I try to buy them now. Buy then build. It's kind of what my motto is now, mostly. And that's actually my first business. I bought a seamless gutter company, when I was 18 years old. And when I bought it, I didn't realize what I was doing back then because I was just a young kid. But I bought a business, and the day I bought it, I had 20 phone calls to go do work. And that's buying into opportunity. When you're building, it might take you 3 months to get that phone to ring,
Right.
So what I'm looking for scalability today. I'm looking for something that can scale. I'm looking for something that it's big enough where I can hire a team to do it. I can't do it all. I don't want to do it all. I don't know how to do it all. I just know that I need to hire people to do it for me and help me.
Right.
And help them. So for me, I'm looking like, hey, this is the company, for example, I bought yesterday. Like, I've already got the people in place that we're working together to build that in, and that's a $30,000, $40,000 a month cash flow stream. And when you have a stream like that, you can hire people to put in place. But when you're coming out of the gate with zeros, it's a little tough. So I'm looking for scalability, simplicity, and opportunity where I can step in and hire people out of the gate to run it for me.
Speaking of hiring people, right? You run a business. It's pretty much virtual. Like, it got to be an art or talent to really craft that company culture, to make everybody work together and make it beautiful. Let's speak on like company culture, and what does that look like for the Mark Evans corporations
Yeah, I
or
mean,
your
we
companies?
have core values that not only just are a thing on the wall or on the virtual wall or on their wall. I mean, one of our biggest core value, or number one core value in all my companies is Care 360. Care for yourself first and foremost, because if you're dead, you can't do anything else. You can't help anybody else. So Care 360. And then also, because all of our companies are virtual, we have a thing called, one of our core values, and all of the companies as well, is be an independent team player. You
Right,
know, like, Antoine, if you're on my team, you drop the ball, I'm only as good as you. I got to step in
right,
and help you, and vice versa. So what happens is you create these connections, and we have team leads, we have different people involved with each other, but we care for each other. We're connecting with each other. Like, we all every day we're doing daily huddles. What's going on? All that. I'm not on those daily huddles, but I have great people leading those now. And my job is to communicate with the leaders, to help the leaders create more leaders. You know what I mean?
right.
And it's different. It's a different thing. If you're a micromanager, or you think you have to have your finger on everything, you're going to be in trouble with the virtual concept, because it's going to get rough. But if you know problems happen and you know how to navigate the conversations, I don't see problems in companies as problems. I see it as learning lessons. It's a great learning opportunity. Just like your kids, right? They mess up. It's not like, you're a loser, you suck, blah, 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 blah. It's like, hey, man, you screwed up, buddy. Here's what we need to talk about, And
Right.
then it's respectful. It's leadership. It's quality conversation. You're not, I don't sweep things under the rug. I hit them head on, man. That's just kind of my personality, because I do know I used to sweep things under the rug. And I don't know if you've ever been like this, but like, it just gets so big and then you just explode.
Yeah,
F you.
yeah. I'm working on that now. I'm
Yeah.
working on that now. So like to be honest with you, Mark, I'm in therapy. I got a therapist now, and I'm working on my anger issues. I'm working on how to balance my business life and my personal life. Because if you don't know how to balance both, it can be a wreck for you mentally. So any entrepreneur out there right now going through stress, man, my advice to you to go get some help. There's nothing wrong with talking to someone.
Oh, dude, listen, I think some of the biggest things out there, it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. I actually think it's the biggest strength thing you could do. Because we've been taught, right? Like, when I talk about this in Magician versus Mule book, as a mule, if you ask for help, people make fun of you. They call you stupid. They laugh at you. Like, it's frowned upon. If you're
Right.
if your boss comes to you and says, hey, I don't know how to do this, you're like, why do I work for you? I know it. I know how to do it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, dude, they're empowering you. They need your help. You're like, just because someone's a boss, if you will, or the leader, the truth is they don't know more than you. They just have a different skill set than you, and vice versa.
Right.
So the thing is I talk about collaboration, right? And, the Zanger thing's a real thing, dude. Like, because it's like my expectations. Typically, when I get real angry, it's my expectations are out of whack. You know what I mean, for the situation. Or it's like, hey, I thought they'd be better. I thought they'd be more honest. I thought they'd work harder. All that stuff. So I've invested millions of dollars over the years in masterminds and coaches and mentors to help me through that. Antoine, have you heard me talk about the thought audit process, though?
Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you about that. I was listening to your podcast, and you said thought audit, and that kind of like stuck out to me, man. And man, I said, man, this is some high level stuff you're talking here.
Yeah, well, I have one of those every 10 years, so that's one. But the thought audit for you, man, is really for anybody that's dealing with anger, stress, anxiety, overwhelm, anything. Like, all of our thoughts, right, Antoine? They're not our thoughts initially. Right. Our parents, our grandparents, our best friends, our teachers, our leader, whoever molded us throughout the years to get to where we're at right at this moment. So most people's never taken a moment, like, when someone says, Antoine, blah, 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 and you're like, yo, mother, blah, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And you got to pull back, and you're like, why am I acting like that? Why am I overreacting? Why am I thinking like that? What's that trigger? More importantly, I know it's a trigger for me, so I can own it and avoid it. You know what I mean? Like, oftentimes I used to do this. I put myself in situations to be triggered. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, for example, I talk about, like, back in the day, I used to take all the calls to Home Depot and Lowe's. Hey, what's on the, hey, yeah, project number one. Okay, yeah. Do they have any Monster Energy drink or beef jerky on there. And yeah, they always do. And I go ballistic. It's like $7 in expenses. I'm like, F them. They can pay for their own food. And then now I'm blowing them up. I'm fighting with them. I'm at the project. It's just it's stuff that triggered me. Instead of doing that, I stepped back and said, listen, let's just say they go to the project 30 times. They go to Home Depot 30 times a month. 30 times, $7. Or let's just call it $10. It's $300. That $300 of massive anxiety for the next 30 days is not worth it for me. It's just $300. So money was my driver. Money was my anger issue. And I felt betrayed. I felt like they were stealing from me. I felt like they were lying to me. And the truth is that I was just being a micromanaging maniac. Right. So, expectations.
Yeah, I agree. And that's kind of like, I was reading your book, Magician versus Mule. I haven't finished it yet. But something stuck out to me where you was talking about, I think your grandma, you cashed your first $50,000 check, and your grandma said, hey, man, we don't got time to be going out to lunch during the daytime. You need to be working. All that foolery you're doing, stop it now. And you handle yourself very well in the book. Can you share that story real quick?
Yeah, so it's around 2:00-ish in the afternoon. I just closed a couple deals. I had I made some real checks, and I was proud of it, man. I was in cloud nine, to be honest. Who wouldn't be, right? It's actually some of my first bigger deals. I really, I never shared with my family what I was doing until I knew I could actually do it consistently, because I was afraid to tell them and then come back. But so I got some good deals going on. I popped off some rev. And I went there and I was like, Grandma, let's go to lunch. I'll take you wherever you want to go. What do you want to eat? I got her flowers, all this stuff. And she's like, get out of this house. Who'd you rip off to do that? What do you know your grandfather had 5 jobs to take care of the family. This don't last forever. Be careful. Just all these things. And I'm like, again, it's like I knew though that would happen. So my mental fortitude prior to getting there, I might have delayed that conversation for a year, so I knew I could actually handle that conversation.
Right.
Like my grandmother, I love her like more than anything. Like if someone, like typically the people that tell you can't do something are the people that love you the most.
Right.
And they're just saying stuff. But again, that's what they believe. That's their thought process. That has nothing to do with mine.
Right. I agree. So for the people that's watching, they might not even heard of the term magician versus mule. Can you break it down to them in the theory behind it? Because I love it. I didn't realize for the longest I was a mule. Now, like the past 6 months, I've become more the magician. And man, it's a life-changing mindset change. Like just thinking different, tweaking a few things, and I seen productivity go up like that.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So the magician versus mule. So we're all designed as mules. Look around, it's everywhere. The school systems are designed as a mule. They're teaching you to be a mule at work. Like, for example, you got to be there at 8. You can't leave till 3. I never understood that. I didn't know what I'm talking about, like in these terms, mule, magician, for a long time. But as a child, I never understood sitting in school. I was already done with all my stuff by noon, but I had to stay there till 3. I'm like, I need to get out of here. I got stuff to do. I didn't even know what I was going to do. I just needed to get out. And it just seemed like I was wasting time. I don't know if you ever feel like that anxiety. Like there's more. I'm wasting time. Like, but what they're doing is they're training you. So when you get out of school and you go get a job, you have to check in at 8 and you can't leave till 5. And I've never understood that, Antoine. Like everyone's differently and efficiently. You and I work differently. Everyone I know works differently. If you go out and you say, hey, guys, all I care is if you do 1 deal this week, I don't care if it takes you a minute, an hour, or 100 hours. Just get the job done. I don't care if but the problem is the mule in you says, I got to get in at 8. I can't leave till 5. And a lot of people, honestly, are struggling with this, with what's going on with the COVID-19 stuff going on, right? Because they're not used to not having – they usually have parameters, a box, 8 a.m., 5 p.m. Our world's not like that. You could be driving to a project and get a phone call and everything just changes in a second, and you have to readjust. And sometimes that's the work-life balance thing that a lot of people struggle with too. But I think at the end of the day, for me, it's like I never understood that, and then I never understood like when I would hear, I'd be like, I think 13, 14, I heard like someone in my family say, hey, I need to take time off for a family vacation, and they're like, I have to ask my boss. And I'm like, wow. You're an adult. You have to ask for permission to take off. Like, you've worked there for 27 years and you have to ask to take a week off. Literally, it didn't make sense to me. So, and then they came back. There was like something going on. They're like, yeah, I'm not seniority. The other person had that time off, so I can't go. So they would change their family plans, their whole life family goals, because they couldn't take time off. And I never understood. Dude, I'd work 100 hours a week to not work a 40-hour week job, for real.
I'm the same way.
So you and I aren't chasing a job. We're chasing freedom.
Right.
And that's a big difference, because when I'm doing what I love to do, I'm free. If I'm sitting in an office cubicle and I have to be there from 8 to 5, I'm like, that's jail to me, man. That's a prison. And again, some people like that. That's not for me. That's not for anybody on my team. And you can ask all the way from my assistant all the way up to COOs that work with me. Like, there is no way that I have any, like, I don't care when you work. I don't call you. You don't call me. You know what needs to get done. Let's get the work done.
I like that style, and I do that with my business, my virtual business, my VA business. I literally give them enough powers that they don't have to be asking me every 5 minutes what they should be doing. We set a level of expectations, then we meet back and see what's the expectation done, then we move on to the next assignment. So I agree with that way of doing things.
So this mule thing, man, is a real thing, though, right? It's real. Yeah. It's like, again, everyone likes this structure. That's how we've been built. I talk about in school, I was a collaborator. I've always been a collaborator. In school, it's called cheating, though. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yo, Antoine, what do you got on line 7? All right, B. All right, got you. But that was like
the same way. Hey, Mark, in school, man, I was hustling candy. Man, teacher's supposed to put me out the class. I said, I give you 3 Snicker bars. They're like, okay, stay and hustle your candy. I don't care. So, exactly. Man.
Dude, I used to sell condoms. I sold bracelets. I sold all. What 16-year-old kid doesn't want a condom in their wallet back in the day?
Oh, man. I know a bunch of people who love condoms, especially when they had the glow-in-the-dark ones. I don't know if you remember them, but
yeah. I mean, it was more like, at the end of the day, these things were, like, they're all dry rotted. By the time if you have an opportunity to use them, we were too cool trying to be cool, Like, we weren't thinking about girls. We were like, hey, if we get money, the girls will follow anyways.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk about the way you build your portfolio, because I remember, man, I was watching your live one day and you said, yeah, man, I got 2 houses. I forgot. Peter called me and said, we got these 2 houses, and you're like, man, I forgot I even own these houses. Let's just try to sell them, get them off the books. Let's talk about the importance of, okay, a person like me who generates 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever the case may be. How can you take that money and transfer it into something more passive and leveraging taxes like depreciation and all that good stuff?
There's a lot of ways to do it, man. And this is a true story today. This is no joke. Today I was talking to someone that works with me, and they're like, hey, blah, 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 this property. I'm like, oh, it's $150,000, $200,000 property. I was like, I forgot we even owned it. He's like, it's just sitting there. I just mowed it, blah, blah, blah. I got mowed and all this. I'm like, oh, my, I've owned it for 2.5 years. In Ohio, Columbus, actually, a nice hot pocket. And I was like, wait, you got to send that back to the team and get them to reposition that to sell it. And I started thinking, I'm like, and again, this sounds silly. It sounds reckless maybe to some people. But if you know where everything's at, you're not doing enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? It sounds silly. But the truth is we're growing so fast and pushing and prodding and, all that. But as for portfolio balance and all that, there's no such thing as true passive wealth. There's an activity that has to occur, number one, to set it up. And number two, there's an activity that has to keep going on to keep it consistent. And then there's a third side to this. Actually, when we die, there has to be an activity that happens or takes place once we pass to make sure it carries on the future legacy of what you're trying to have the asset class do. So I own a lot of companies. I don't own as much real estate as I used to. Actually, I don't own a lot of real estate like I used to because it's a lot of headaches for me. It's not what my passion's at. My team's not it's just not my thing anymore. But I do own real estate in a different manner. I'm more of a private lender. I'm more of the private lender where I come in and do the equity plays for cash. So I still get the write-offs. I can buy write-offs. I can do all these things. I can do a lot of cool things, with money. So I think it depends on what your skill set is, what you enjoy, what your risk tolerance are. I don't like, again, I get triggered when I get a call and it's like, hey, the tenant just tore up your house. It's $7,000. I'm like, and then I go bananas, right? As we all do.
Right.
I don't even want to hear about it because passive investment real estate, you still got to talk to management, you know? And I've done thousands and thousands of houses in that space, almost 10,000 probably now. But like, there's so much like activity that has to happen because there's human beings in these things, man.
Right.
Humans cause issues.
Yeah, I agree because last night, I usually only talk personal business, but I like you, Mark. You sound like a cool guy. I got to come down and chill with you. Last night, one of my private lenders called me. I got a balloon payment coming due in June. Maybe they calling me to discuss this payment I got to make. So they called me and said, hey, Antoine, I know you got a balloon payment coming in June. I'll tell you what, I want you to hold the money for another year. Just pay me the interest that's due. And I said, what? I said, for real? So like, yeah. So I said, cool. I can deploy that capital again and keep doing what I'm doing. So it's crazy how the private lender think like they just want their money working. You know what I mean? I find it crazy, man.
I do know what you mean because I'm that same guy. You know, I mean, I've got I've got private lenders myself, right? Many millions of dollars in private lending money. Very rarely do you get a private lender calling and say, "Send me my money back," because what that means is you just cut off a monthly check payment to them, a wire. So but again, this is a relationship capital conversation as well, right? You've done what you said you're going to do. You're paying them on time, every time. That's key. If not, by the way, if you're not paying them on time and all that, he's saying, yo, send me my money back ASAP or I got to call the lawyer. You're building every month you send them a check or wire, even if you don't talk to them, relation capital is being deepened. The relationship's getting tighter. It's getting more trustworthy. They might have 100 G's with you. They might have access to 5 million. You never know. I'm telling you, I've seen it happen multiple times to me and with me. Like, I start slow, slow roll it. I want to see how you act, react, don't act, whatever. I'm paying attention to all activities. Are you sloppy? Are you, like all these little things. I'm doing a deal right now. Actually, today we funded, and it got goofy at the end, as sometimes it does. I'm just paying attention to how the investor's reacting. It's goofy right now. My money's already parked. Seller's acting weird. Buyer, like, is he blowing me up on text? Is he blowing up my assistant? Is he, what's he doing? How's he handling it? He's not doing any of that. He's handling the situation like a professional, which is a good thing.
Right. I agree. So let's talk about your typical day. Like, what does a typical day look like for Mark?
Yeah, man. Well, every morning, man, up 4:44 a.m. at the latest. This morning I was up at 4, but 4:44 a.m. Get up, straight. I got to jump straight up, brush my teeth, and get out of that bedroom quick. Because if not, that bed starts looking more comfy. Every second counts in that situation for me. Again, knowing my weaknesses, knowing what my triggers. Right. I go straight into the dining room, grab a coffee. And start. I do a lot of gratitude immediately. 10, 15 minutes of gratitude session, either writing out notes to my friends or people, colleagues, or my wife or kids, just saying, hey, thank you for being you. I love you, blah, blah, blah. Just stuff like that. And just getting the day started off on the right foot. I'm not, by the way, everything I'm saying is not 100%. I wish it was. We all have moments where we get weak and, I sleep in or whatever and skip that piece because I got a crazy day sometimes. But get there, do that. By 6 o'clock, 6:15, I'm out doing an hour walk or jog, run, walk kind of thing. On that, I'm listening to podcast shows, talking to high-level people that I'm working with. I'm usually by 6 to 7, I probably get in 3 to 5 calls. Plus, I listen to about 20, 30 minutes of audio, podcast show, audio, whatever, stuff like this, what we're doing right now. And then get back in the house 7:30, hang out with the fam for about half hour, play with the kids, wrestle them. They beat me up, I beat them up, smack them around, they smack me around kind of thing. And then boom, 8:30 to 9:30, I do my new show, Coffee and Cigars and Coffee. So I do that real quick. And then kind of just like building the team. Every company I own, I don't do anything daily, really. I'm more like focused on big picture, what's working, what's not, talking to my assistant, what can we get better. And then I'm usually hit another workout around 2 or 3 o'clock, honestly. Get that done, hang out with the fam, take a golf cart ride here in Florida. play with them, and do some reading. I read every day as well at night. It's usually like my nighttime thing now. But that's about it, man. Just hustling.
Yeah, I seen before the corona hit, you had a little Mark on the course, and I seen this little shot. It's getting good. I was like, man, that little boy can play golf. I said, that's good.
I need a jet, man. I keep telling him he's got to get good enough to buy me a jet.
Yeah, it's not like a PJ. So let's talk about something, a hobby of yours that I noticed, and I picked up the same hobby over the last 3 years. Cigars. Like I like cigars now. I got a guy I want to introduce you to now in Tampa. He's a Cuban. He owns his own cigar shop, and he has access to fine Cuban cigars, which is hard to get at an affordable price. How did you come involved with liking cigars?
So when I was 18 years old, so back before that, my uncle Benny, who passed recently, he always smoked cigars, Swisher Sweet Tail, like the cheap ones.
Yeah.
But he loved it. He'd always had, we called him Boss Hog. He always had a cigar in his mouth all the time. And amazing guy. He was like kind of like a mini business guy, but never really grew massively and all that. He's always, kind of like a lot of entrepreneurs we know. And, he's just a cool dude. I always thought it was cool. Like, you're rolling up and pull up with a cigar, like, yo, this guy's, he knows what's going on. And then I turned 18, and then some guy pulled up in a Porsche when I was on construction, and he had a cigar out of his mouth. And he's paying me in cash to do a deal. And I'm like, what do you do? He's like, I'm a real estate investor. I'm like, I want to be a real estate investor myself. And I think all these impressions. And then I started smoking Swisher. I'd buy a box for $5, and I'd drive to buy 5 cigars for like $4. I was trying to get $1 discount,
Yeah.
And just started evolving. And I don't smoke a ton. I know it looks like I smoke a lot more than I do, but it's more like it's my relaxing time, man. Like today, I'll fire one up maybe, hang out, and I usually do it when I'm writing, because I'm writing a couple new books. I'm working on some thoughts, and it calms me down. It's my vice, honestly. I'm not a big drinker. I used to a little bit. Now I don't really drink a whole lot. I haven't drank much at all this year, actually. And then I'm not out partying with buddies and doing all that stuff. I'm kind of just hanging out and just trying to enjoy life, man.
Man, that's dope. I ain't gonna hold you long. I know you got other things to do.
No, man, I got an hour for you. Whatever I need, man. I got you.
Okay. So let me see, guys, because the stream, I just hard to see the questions. I'm gonna have to go on my phone to see if we have any questions. Guys, this is your chance to drop your questions. This is one of the most highest level people we're gonna have on the show that literally comes on and act like a normal, down to earth guy. That's why I like Mark. He's a really down to earth, approachable guy, and I wish more people can be like Mark. Drop your questions in the comment, guys. And we'll get to them. I don't see any questions for some reason. You usually show me all the questions.
Yeah, right. I see some questions. You're in the private chat probably. Move to the live comments. Some people, financial freedom is what I'm striving for.
Okay, cool.
Cheating, and when I was talking about cheating, they're laughing. That happens because of relationships, trust, and communication. Yes, it does.
Let me go to one of my actual pages on Facebook and see, because sometimes Facebook don't put the questions on the stream. I'm not sure why. But
But man, I'd love for everybody. It's here.
Yeah, what you got cooking up? I know the COVID messing things up. I definitely want to come down to one of your 2-day events with Peter. I don't know when that's going to happen, to be honest with you, because of the COVID.
Yeah, but we don't know either.
You got anything you're going to do virtually, or you got anything you're cooking up that you want to let people know about?
Yeah, no, man. Magician vs. Mule is really the big thing we're pushing right now. 100% of the net proceeds go to charity on all my books, not just this book. It's kind of interesting. Right now it's 12/34. That's when I came out, Friday at 12/34 on my daughter's birthday. It was the launch of the book. And, man, it's been awesome. We've had hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of sales by now. And just to see people take it and read it and do something with it. My goal is not to, change your life, everything overnight. It's just to bring the concept to your brain so every next week you're conscious of your efforts. I'm not saying don't do anything, get rich. I'm saying, the mule in you have to identify you're a mule before you can actually start working on processing. So I've coached thousands of people over the years. The number one reason they're trying to be a magician, they don't even know that's what it's called, but they're trying to be the magician, but they're the mule, and they're trying to figure out why there's so much disconnection.
Right.
It's because they haven't identified as a mule. If we can identify a mule to a magician, now we can figure out the bridge to get there. It's a process. Stop micromanaging, let go. Not everyone, you can't do it as good as, you can't, people will help you. You got to ask for help and all that.
Right. Right. Here come the questions now. You ready?
Yep, I'm ready, man.
So someone said, what is your main marketing channel? I'm assuming we haven't even talked about your wholesaler business because I know that that's just one of the forces of what you do. I want to show everybody who markets at a higher level, right? Wholesaling, great, but like, what is your main marketing channel?
I mean, direct mail is always my main marketing channel, but it depends on what you're starting off in a budget. You know, if you have a small amount of money, maybe you want to be cold calling. If you're talking real estate, if you're a small amount of budget, maybe you want to do text broadcasting to extract leads. Just do it right so you don't get in trouble, or voicemails and such. I love email marketing, man. You know, right now, honestly, Antoine, like it's never been easier to get people to connect with because you have social media. Go
Right.
to Facebook groups, go to your location, Maryland real estate investor clubs. There's thousands of people you can literally talk to in a minute. It's pretty wild, man. But it all depends on how much you have, how big you're trying to be. Know your KPIs on your marketing. Probably the biggest thing I see the problem is most people they'll spend $5,000 and make 20, but they won't spend 10 to make 30. They won't spend 30 to make 60. They get scared because their KPIs aren't right, and not only that, they're spending what they're making. They're not growing a business. They're creating a monster job for themselves. It's scary.
All right. Next question. So Randu asks, what was the purchasing experience for that double R?
Oh, the Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
I've owned a couple of Rolls Royces, but purchasing, man, you know, it's funny. I've never test drove a car I bought since 2005 because I buy them from afar. You know, back in when did I buy my first Rolls? I was 30, so I'll be 42 this year. So what is that? 2008? Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2008. You probably had the big Phantom.
Phantom,
That's when all the rappers on the big Phantoms.
I've had multiple Phantoms, but like this is the only Ghost I've had. You know, again, I talk about this in thought auditing. For me, a car. By the way, I pay cash for all my cars because I lost a car it was the most embarrassing moment of my life when I got a car repoed. It was my truck. I was sitting in my place. I had no gas, no electric. I was literally reading a book with a candle. This is a true story. Freezing cold out in a low efficiency apartment in Ohio. And I heard the tow truck pull up. I'm like, who's that? And I look out the window because I know I'm not paying my bills clearly. And all of a sudden the guy's roping up the truck. I'm like, man, can I get in there? I got my stuff in there, my briefcase. He's like, nope, not allowed, man. I felt so degraded and so embarrassed, for real. It was like a very big moment for me, a real reality check, if you will. And I went in there and started reading the book. I was like, I got to change. So for me to purchase a car like that, it's literally, it's more about who I have to become to do it, not necessarily the moment. It's who I'm becoming to get to that part. So by the time I bought it, I've already bought it and drove it in my head for years, for real. You know, so a lot of people forget, like, I was in business for 12 years before I ever bought a real car. You know what I mean? Like 12 years. So knowing what I know now, I could do it a lot quicker. But the thing is you have to become the person that drives a Rolls Royce before you buy the Rolls Royce. You know what I mean?
Okay, awesome. Someone said, just saying your new book, can you talk it? Don't know what that means, but
maybe audiobook. Audiobook would be out in about 2 or 3 months. We're working on it right now.
Yeah, that takes time because you gotta literally go in the studio and record for
yeah,
long
the
as
problem
the
is
book is.
studios aren't open right now, so we're trying to do a little gangster style in the office. But like, you know, you got to send it to the tech guy. The echo's too loud. You got to redo it. It's a process. So we're just trying to dial it in right now. But I look forward to doing that actually.
Right, no man, you get a ton of questions, Mark. They love you over here.
I love it.
Someone said, as a private investor, what are some of the keys that things you look at when examining a deal to invest in?
I don't look at the deal. I look at the individual. I'm looking at the jockey, not the horseman. Wow. I'm looking for the guy or gal. If the deal goes belly up, because they will eventually, I want your ass at Burger King working third shift to pay me back. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people that don't have a bad past experience because people revert to past. So I'm looking for people that didn't go bankrupt. I'm looking for people that pay their bills even when it's hard. I'm looking for people to pay their child support. All these things, because I know these are creatures. People are creatures of habits. And if you know you can get away with not paying child support, you know you can get away with going bankrupt and getting out free and clear. Like I look at that stuff as an individual, and then obviously the deal. If it's worth 100, I might not. If it's my first deal, I might be very light on the front end with you at 60% on the dollar, and you might have to bring a couple dollars here or there. But like every deal and every person's different. The truth is, I only fund most of the guys in my DM family or DM alliance. I mean, we have a lot of money on the streets with these guys, but they've all paid to play. They're in groups. I know what their thought process is. I know they invest in themselves. You know, I'm not looking for a know-it-all either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking for someone that's like moldable. I want to help you grow. I don't want to just give you $100 grand. I'm trying to figure out how to give you millions.
Right. I agree. I like that thought process. I never heard that before. So, Virginia asks, how do you know which business to invest in? What criteria do you look for?
Yeah, I'm looking for profitable. Net profit, that is, not gross profit. Yeah, Virginia, it's a good question. I mean, there's a lot of variables. What I would start with is me first. What are my core competencies? Where can I add value if I buy it today? Kind of like an investor, right? If we buy a house and I know or an apartment building and I know I can go in there and raise the rents and do this and that, and I can get a 50% increase on the value, that's my value. I know I can do that. So same thing in business. Maybe you're good at marketing. Maybe you're good at organization. Maybe you're good at inventory control. There's a lot of variables. There's so many types of businesses, man. Antoine, your real estate business and your VA business, they're totally separate businesses.
Separate businesses that can hold each other up. And one go down, the next one can hold me over. So that's all I want to invest in, is them type of businesses.
I love it, man.
Yeah. Someone asks, what is your favorite real estate book, not your own, and business book?
Honestly, I don't think I've ever read a real estate book because real estate's simple. It's a very simple strategy to understand. I would recommend reading all business books and mindset books. You know what I mean? Like The Magic of Thinking Big, Psycho-Cybernetics, Think and Grow Rich, The Power of Concentration, a bunch of books out there exist that if you read them, you unlock your mind. Real estate is, again, it's like real estate's so easy to understand. Honestly, this is why smart people don't really succeed at a high level in basic real estate. They overthink simplicity. Like, it's like, why would someone sell you a house that's worth 100 for 50? Because you asked. I mean, that's the simple answer. I don't need to know any more than that. They agreed, I agreed, I'm in. So smart people are like, well, what's the angle? If it's a good deal, right? Like that's emotional, mental mindset issues. That has nothing to do with reality. And the truth is, you're also assuming it's all about the money. It's not always about money. I just did a deal recently where I'm actually the lender. The guy hit a snag. I had a $100K note on it. I was like, dude, sell it for 60. I'll take a $40K loss. Let's just move the deal forward. I want my money back. You know, It's not about the money. I want what the money can do that I get back and go deploy again. And not only that, I have other deals with him. I've made a lot of money with this guy. It's not like I'm mad. It's a part of the game, you know. And the reason, Antoine, straight up, the reason most people won't succeed because they're not willing to lose. Everyone wants to win, win, win. Well, in winning, there's a lot of losses to get the wins. And that's why most people never get there. So favorite real estate book, I've read like 6,000 books in my life, but most of them, maybe a real estate manual. I've always hired coaches, to be honest.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's something that I left off that I really wanted to touch on. You was in a mastermind where you was in a Richard Branson mastermind, I believe you said. And I think the price to get in was like over 6 figures. I don't know if you.
Yep, 100 grand.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if you want to talk about the actual numbers, but okay, 100 grand. How in the world did you convince your mind, right, to say, I'm going to stroke a check for 100 grand and I don't care what the return I get back?
Well, I would have paid $1 million, but because I'm worth it.
Right.
That's the answer. Straight up, that's the answer. Like, you know, it's like most people are trying to figure out, is it worth it to join? I'm thinking I'm worth it to join. You know, it's just shifting the mindset. So listen, people struggle to buy a $15 book, Antoine. You know, I'm going to be a millionaire, but I'm not paying $15 for the book. They're going to go search online, trying to figure out how to get it for free. You know what I mean? It's crazy. They'll spend 8 hours to try to get a book for free for $15. You can't build a multi-million-dollar company on a dollar mindset. You just can't do it. It's impossible. So for me, it's that group. It was 3 meetings for 100 grand. I paid it. I wish it was more. Because every time I do that, I unlock another door. It's like I realize my value and my worth to myself. You know what I mean?
And at 100 grand, right? I'm just curious to know. At 100 grand, what was the caliber of the people in there? Was it like nine-figure business owners, nine-figure year business owners, or who's the type of people who will pay $100,000 to come together for only 3 times in a year?
There's 25 people in the room, and every single person meant a financial qualifier, right? And we had guys in there that have security guards 24 hours a day. You know, I mean, they're security guard up. They got drivers. They very big business owners. Some people would know some of these guys. I mean, they're running, like you said, 9-figure year businesses online that you guys would all know these brands and companies. There's a guy that he's a mergers and acquisitions specialist. So he's selling and buying companies for billions of dollars every year. He's been doing it for many years. So, I mean, you're having those kind of conversations. We had a couple celebrity people in there, more kind of come in like Molly from Molly's Game, if you've ever seen that movie. Alice Cooper, he came in, the rock star guy. So I'm not really into like that kind of stuff, but like you'd meet these kind of people in these kind of environments, you know, and not only just meet them, but understand like why they play the role they do. It's all a show, man. It's their costume, you know.
Right. Even
like
even you have your own personal mastermind, right?
I do. It's called the DM Family, Dealmaker Family. We have 33 guys in there. I need to raise the price, but it's $35,000 a person, and we have some heavy hitters in there, man. It's a brotherhood. We work together, we cry together, we laugh together, and we push together, man.
Right, man. That's crazy, man. Like, just because even for me, like I always said, like hire somebody, a specific person, like a professional advisor, to really consult with you to scale your company. Like, you the first person I ever heard say the word KPI, and when I heard it, I said, "Let me go see this stuff." And I said, "Man, there's some corporation, there's some stock market type of stuff that this guy's talking about. This guy passed wholesaling, like even though he's still wholesaling, like this guy is more superior than what wholesaling really is." And that's how I started really incorporating what I did in my business and really start scaling myself by just taking what you were saying on Facebook Live. People don't understand the value of direct consumer content by the revolution of Facebook Live. Facebook Live changed so much. Even for a person like me to sit in a truck in middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, to be able to talk to a person like you because of a platform like Facebook Live. It's crazy.
It's powerful, man. Listen, if you show up, it works. You know, I talk about this concept one to many. You're doing this once, it'll be seen many hours, right? By great people. You know, so my job is my goal, I feel like, is to help people understand real estate is a stepping stone, not the end all be all. Use it as a stepping stone. Ask yourself, what can the business do for me? Not what can I do for the business? Change up the conversations. You change the conversations, you change the results, man. And that's what frustrates me, Antoine. I go to these events and I see all these people 20, 30 years deep in the game and they have the same problems I have. That's not normal. It's not normal, man. Like, you got to have different problems. I need bigger. I don't have $100,000 problems, man. I got multi-million-dollar problems now. Like, these guys are coming in there like, hey, man, I need to borrow 50 grand and blah, blah. I'm like, dude, you're in the game 25 years and you're trying to get 50 G's? You should be asking for 50 million.
Right.
You know, like, it's different. I don't understand it. So it's like, it's different conversations for sure.
Right. So out of all of the books you read, forget real estate, what was one of the best books that really turned the path for you to go to a different direction and take your life to a new heights?
Yeah, dude, there's so many, for real. I've read at least 5,000 books, probably 6,000, 7,000, like a lot. And I'm a terrible reader. I'm slow. I can barely retain information. But The Magic of Thinking Big, it just clicked with me, right? By David Schwartz, I believe is his name. Like, I read it and I'm like, that makes sense. That makes sense, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. Great book, basic fundamental understanding of how the real world works and how to make money, how to lose money. It's a good story in the book as well. Psycho-cybernetics, understanding how your mind triggers when this happens. Like, it's all psycho. Like, you know, we are psycho oftentimes. So apologize if it's a little loud. We got a heavy rainstorm coming in.
Yeah, me too. It's raining out here too.
Oh, is it? Can you hear it? Yeah. Is it loud?
I hear a little bit, but it's okay. We rocking the road. Let's continue pushing.
All right, man. Yeah. But so, yeah, it's just there's so many great books, man, that are. I mean, Think and Grow Rich. That was the first book I ever read. That was my first real book I ever read. It changed my life. because it set me
Right.
on the trajectory to like know that there's something different out there, you know?
Right. And about like, cause I hear a lot of investors talk about cash is trash. You don't need cash. You know, what is your take on holding on to cash? Like, do you have a nice liquidity balance? You know, like, do you hold on to a lot of the cash you get, or do you just straight deploy it and you just say, forget it, whatever happens, happens?
It's all ebb and flow, man. I think it all depends on where you're at in your life and your business and your what your risk tolerance is, what your debt loads look like, what your exposure is. There's a lot of real variables on all that. But I mean, everyone has that number that they need to see in their accounts every day to just make them get up and feel comfortable. So it's the thermostat, if you will, inside your bank account. I like cash. I like cash flow better. You know, if I have 15 million sitting in the bank and a deal's worth 30 and you can get it for 15, I'm broke, just like we're all broke at a moment. That because I'm buying that deal, I'm taking it down. You know, so we're all one deal away, man. I think the key is though back to relationship capital. I'm constantly planting seeds. Just because it's cash doesn't necessarily mean your cash. It could be someone else's cash. And not only that, maybe it's a risk diversification piece. I can borrow from you, you can borrow from me, but we're diversified in our own environments. And I do that with a lot of people. I have deals with people that I have their money, they have my money, you know, in different types of deals. So if they're really good at this stuff and I'm good at that, I'm going to put them together and hopefully one works out better than the other.
Right. That's awesome, man. Like, I was listening to Tony Robbins. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Tony Robbins. He kept talking about, asset allocation. And then for the past month, that's all I've been studying. And he was talking about things like capital stack. And I'm like, man, this is some powerful stuff. Like, he sat down and actually interviewed like all of the top hedge fund managers and billionaires, and they were showing them how to properly diversify yourself. Now, I don't agree with the stock market personally, but just knowing that, okay, when I have this money coming in, what to do with it is a blessing, because you had winning seasons, like you said, you had losing seasons, and you got to know how to weather the storm. So right now, I'm just trying to hold on to everything I got, to build up, something so I can start making these investments and start networking with people, man. I'm ready to network. I'm ready to invest in myself. I'm ready to step out there to really get to the next level. So, yeah.
Just know, though, man, scared money don't make money.
I know.
I can tell you right now, man, because I grew up with no money, and I started my businesses with no money, and I treat every deal like I have no money because it keeps you creative. It keeps you focused on what's important. Cash and cash flow is very important. And if I just throw money at it, my own money, because I have it, I always lose because I'm not focused, on pushing it and making sure it's like a good deal. I'm just like, oh, I have the money. Cool. Here you go. Let's go. But when I'm bringing in other people's money, it's a whole nother animal. It just shifts the gears into a different level. Think about this though, Antoine. Why is it that billionaires bring on partnerships and do stuff like that? It's because they have connections, relationships, great people working together, and they can diversify their wealth together. You know, like if shit hits the fan, which it does sometimes, two guys are aligned to make the money back. They're jumping in together.
Right.
I think what people forget. I love the gritty piece. I love getting in and getting dirty. Like, you tell me the problem, I might know the answer. If I don't, I want to find it. I want to go find people to help us get the answer for this. And that's what's made me successful is I didn't have any money. So how do you do deals with no money? Owner financing, lease option, rent to own, blah, 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 blah. There's 20 different ways. I have a lot of cash. Well, I still kind of do those types of deals. I still owner finance. I still sell, we still do all that stuff, right? And now we have more cash. But there's so many ways to attack this. I think, I like to be innovative, man. I like to be thinking about, I try to act like, I wake up broke every day, man, in my brain.
Right.
I got money to get. I want to be stupid rich though, man. I have no qualms about it. I want to be stupid wealthy. If you don't want to be stupid wealthy, you've never been poor.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that right quick, right? Why is it so embarrassing for people to admit that they want to be filthy rich? Like, why do we have to satisfy other people's opinion of us by saying, I just need enough to survive? Why do people think that that's a problem for expressing yourself to say, for me, I tell people, I want to have my heaven here on earth. I want everything I can dream of, because when I die, there's no verification that there's rose paid to gold and all the stuff I was taught as a younger child. So, let's talk about that real quick, if you don't mind.
No, the simple answer is they feel like you have to take from someone to get what you want. Truth is, that's not the case. You have to serve. You have to steward. You have to understand that people will spend money. I mean, if that's it, look at Apple. Dude, they're $1 trillion company. Amazon, $1 trillion company. They're serving people. This ain't a phone. This is a computer. You can change people's lives with this little thing in your hand. You know what I mean? So,
this thing right here, powerful.
All day, it's your business. That's how you run your business in your hand. So that's worth $1,000, whatever. But at the end of the day, man, I think they're so afraid or embarrassed or ashamed to think that you getting rich is going to take from someone. It's not. You're enhancing, right? Like you're enhancing people's lives. You're not going out. You're not the mob. We're not going out killing people to get money and all this stuff. What's interesting to me, though, Antoine, we have this weird. Again, this is what mules think about. They think about, oh, I take from you. Like there's no abundance mentality, right? It's all like if I take from Antoine, I can't make money. I can't succeed. Same thing in real estate. Like my mastermind, half of my guys are in my direct correlation marketplaces. I teach them everything I know. Guess what? They make more money. I make more money. Go figure. Right. It's not competition. It's collaboration. So for me, another thing too is like what's interesting to me. Why is it that mules, and I say this nicely and loosely, like they look up to like athletes that just got paid 30, 40, $50 million a year.
Right.
If you and I as entrepreneurs, we got make it, they're like, they're talking shit about us 24/7.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you better not post nothing flashy on Facebook and stuff, because now they really criticizing. You know,
I love it, man. But the thing is, what I realize is, haters aren't creators. They're not mad at me. You know, I got the watch, I got the cars, I got the houses. I don't need to showboat it, but whatever. But like at the end of the day, they see it, and some people are hating on you. Listen, they're just mad because they gave up on their dreams, man. Right. Like I'm not. The truth is, you see my watch or the Rolls. I'm like, man, I'm broke. Why isn't that a Bugatti? Why isn't that
Why isn't
that a $4.5 million P1? Like there's levels and levels. Like
levels.
Because that's what you see, dude. This is just a moment in time where this is a sidecar. I have multiple cars. You know what I mean? So it's like you're not hating on whatever. You're just mad because you ain't getting it.
Right. Right. It's crazy how the way most people think, and I don't know if it's because some people just conditioned to have that W-2 mindset. I enjoy killing the food I eat. Right. Like I've been self-employed since 2013, and I enjoy getting up every day not knowing what tomorrow look like. That kind of gets me going. You know, like because when I realized when I worked the job, I used to see my friends sit there. I'm not doing that shit. They ain't paying me enough, or I'm done for the day. Like, but as an entrepreneur, there's no such thing as done for the day. You got to continue to push.
You do. I call it king of the dipshit mentality, Antoine. You know what I mean? Like everyone at the W-2, they're sitting around the break room, and they're like looking at each other. Piece of paper falls on the ground. I ain't picking that up. You pick it up. It ain't my job to pick it up. Susie pick it up. Susie ain't picking it up. It's my they play this game, and then when someone gets a raise of a quarter. You get a raise of 20 cents. Someone gets 18 cents. Someone gets 30 cents. You guys are all comparing, pennies.
Right.
And you all still got to show up. You all still got to do what you're told. And you also got to leave when you're told. Like, there's a problem with this. King of the dipshit mentality, man.
Right. So outside of real estate, maybe someone here watching this, and they don't have no money. They piss poor broke. What are some things they can do tonight? Fuck tomorrow. Tonight. That they can start and literally try to see something, a return on their investment?
Well, number one, invest in yourself first and foremost. If they're watching this, even asking a question, they're doing that right now. They're on that journey, which is awesome. So I commend you on that, and it's fun. I get excited to learn. It's just fun. Curiosity for me is a really good thing. Go in your garage, go in your closet, go in your attic, go in your basement, go anywhere where you have anything. You got a lighter. This cost me $150. Sell it for $100. Make $100. You got a cutter. This is $100. Sell it for $60. Like, dude, I gotta get money. I gotta get money. Right. Go with stuff you're not using. That Gucci belt, the shoes, the sandals, the shirts, the Louis Vuitton bags, all that shit you bought because you thought you were gonna be cool. Sell it. Get rid of it. Move it on. Go to realbags.com or all these sites and Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. If you don't have anything like that, because that's how you're like real down. Go to Facebook, go to Craigslist, and go to the free section. Go get the free stuff. Go do the work. Today I was taking a walk. There was probably $1,000, $1,500, Antoine, in baby stuff sitting out by the trash. And I know because we have one of these. It's like an $800 where the kids eat at. So,
Oh yeah.
That was out sitting out in the track. Like, people are throwing that stuff away. If I was broke, I'm stop the car, throw that shit in there, and let's go. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm cleaning it up, sanitizing it, putting on Craigslist, taking some good pictures, and I'm selling. I'm getting $500 today, man. I'm getting 300. Like, people are so, dude, just complacent and lazy, man, or they just don't know. I hope they just don't know, because then they have at least a. But that's not even an excuse anymore. Whatever you want, go to Google and say, how do I get paid? How do I make money? How do I sell stuff online? There's no excuse. Whatever your mind can think of, you can go ask Google and get the answer.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's powerful, man, because like literally, I know for a fact if people sold the shit that they're not using in their house, they probably can scrape up $3-4 grand overnight.
All day, right? All day. Those TVs, those Xboxes, those video games, those cards, those cars, there's all kinds of stuff that you can go out there and sell.
And what about the guy that's sitting home right now playing fucking video games and watching Netflix?
You should be embarrassed.
Dude, to me, like, I never, like, I'm only 31, Mark. I was born 88. My mother had me at an early age. She was born 71, right? She had me at 16. And for the love of God, I can't remember a time where the whole entire world was on pulse. And now you can do anything you want to do. You can go work on something that you may not get to 2 years ago. And people, I was at the Walmart. Maybe I'm going off a little subject, but I just like talking. I was at the Walmart the other day, that Thursday. The stimulus checks came out a Wednesday. The IRS, they released on Wednesday. That Thursday night, I'm at the Walmart. I'm like, why the fuck is everybody in here? People picking up televisions, air fryers, shit that don't even matter. Like, it's just crazy. And I'm like, man, Mr. Trump didn't give you guys this money to have a tax season part 2. He gave this money to do something constructive with. And I'm like, you still don't get it. You lost your job. You're 3 months behind your rent. You're in financial ruin, your merch shit, and you still don't get it. Like, it's just puzzling to me, man. It's puzzling.
Well, again, because everyone makes money like money's the problem or money's the solution. It's neither or. Money's money. It has zero emotion. It's us as humans. It's our brain. This is why 75% of people win the lottery go bankrupt. That's why big athletes that are amazing athletes go bankrupt, because it's meant, dude. Money is just a tool. It's no more, no less. We turn it into it's like this big thing. Like, I'm not smarter than anybody, man. The truth is, I'm actually probably the dumbest guy here. You know what I mean? So if your mind's, you're only going to make and keep as much money as your mental fortitude is, your financial fortitude. If you learn about money, you'll have more money. If you don't learn about money, you're always a victim and you're always going to be broke. I don't care how much money you get, you will always be broke. Always. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm going to give you one more question. We're going to get up out of here. I know you have to spend time with Virginia asks, what's the most important thing to consider when transitioning from a W-2 to entrepreneur?
That's a good question. I've never had a W-2, so I'll answer this lightly. I think, one, you got to be ready for the journey. Entrepreneurship's not always easy, right, Antoine? I mean, there's going to be some bumps.
Oh, yeah.
If you like structure, if you like certainty or false certainty, if you will, stay at the W-2. Find a side hustle. Get the rhythm down. I call it cadence. Get your cadence down. Boom, I wake up at this time. Boom, I do this at this time. Boom. And do that for another 3, 4, 6, 12 months. Get some rhythm in your movement. And not only that, month 1 you make 100, month 2 you make 300, month 7 you make 1,500, and see some progression. That would give you confidence and courage to take that leap. Because the last thing I'd hate to see you do is take the leap and say, oh shit, I like that. I appreciate that. And I wish more people would do that, but most people don't have the stomach for that at that moment. And then what's going to happen, you're going to put yourself in a bad position. Secondly, when you do leave the W-2, just be professional about it. Give your 2 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever you need to give. So, if all shit does hit the fan, you can go back and possibly get your job back. So just be professional, do the right thing. But I like the cadence piece. Get a cadence down, get courage, confidence. Confidence comes through daily action, not results. Actions equal results, by the way. Your results will drive your actions, but let your actions drive your results prior, because you don't have results yet. You got to create the daily habits. Deal with things you can control when you get up, what you eat, how you eat, who you do it with, what you're working on. Like, there's things that you have control over. You're never a victim. As an entrepreneur, Antoine, correct me if I'm wrong, we can't be victims. We got to be solutions.
No. We can't be victims or we can't point the finger. It's always your fucking fault,
It's
no matter if
always
it ain't.
100%.
Yeah.
So and I'm not saying this in a negative way. For W-2 folks, typically think nothing's their fault. They're always not in control.
Right.
It's not my fault. You don't understand. Blah blah blah. Take those words out of your thing. I own it, dude. One of my companies lost $4 million. My fault. I didn't do shit. It's my fault, right? I didn't set the deal up. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. But I have to accept responsibility, and I own it. It's my fault, And obviously there's layers to that. But like at the end of the day, most people take responsibility for all the good stuff. They never take responsibility for the bad stuff. And when
I call it playing hero ball. Trying to shoot the game-winning shot from half court, and somebody right underneath the court to make a layup. I call it playing hero ball.
I love it, man.
Hey man, Mark, I appreciate you, man. I'm a DM you my number, man. We got to really connect sometimes. I appreciate you coming on the platform and really spreading your wisdom. I think the people needed this. This was a much needed episode. I didn't want to bring somebody on to talk data and content, right? Talk wholesaling, like we do that all day. I want somebody to come on to really be transparent about business and what they've been through. And you touched on all them cylinders. So thank you so much. Tell your wife Dana I said hi, little Mark. Your wonderful daughter. Tell everyone I said hi. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, Antoine. Thank you guys.
No problem. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Next week, I'm going to have my guy, Rod Khalif. I don't know if you know Rod or Mark. He's a multi-family investor. He's going to be on sharing how he lost $50 million. We're going to figure out how he lost it and how he bounced back that easy. So it's going to be an awesome episode, and I hope to continue my Nothing But Nuggets podcast to really make it one of the #1 podcasts people can listen to. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. See y'all next week.